Okay.
Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. You know what that means? It means it's Elevate to Greatness with Nick Lippitt. That's what it means. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your week to be here, rolling into Halloween. So I'm hoping everyone else is in a costume. I forgot, so I'm not wearing a costume. But we are giving out candy, full-size candy bars at the end of this show. So we're that house on the block. This happens every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. You can listen on the podcast, Spotify, Apple. If you missed some of it, want to check it out, or if you just want to hear it again, because it's just so much, there's so much oozing wisdom that you just need to check it out again. So, and also as you're listening through the program, you're thinking, man, I wish I could have this same call, but without everyone else here. You can. That's personal coaching with Nick, and you can talk to me about that if you're interested, and you should be. So we'll get into all of that, but he's barreling down the highway, going faster than the law allows. It's Nick Lippitt.
Thanks, Darby. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Darby's not lying. I'm definitely going a touch faster than the law allows. I got a little caught up in the field today, but that's okay. Like I've always said, I'll never miss this call, regardless of the situation, unless Rachel is giving birth, and we know that that's not going to happen. So I'll be on all of them.
If it does now, I'll be like, you said it wouldn't happen.
Karma.
And you'll still be on the call, by the way. You won't miss the call.
Yeah, my camera might be off, but I'll be on the call.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope it's been a great week. Obviously, winter is approaching. It was a brisk 19 degrees in Colorado this morning. But it's that time of the year where it starts like winter, then it feels a little bit like fall and spring, and then summer in the middle of the day, and then back to cold again. So, yeah, we are kicking ass and taking names, and we are off to a very strong quarter four.
We are off to a strong quarter four. MG with a big one today. So, bam. So,
well, we should take a quick second there, because you know what? I am gonna take a quick second there. I'm gonna call this out. It was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, and MG told me, I think it was in one of his goal conversations or one of our one-on-ones, and he said, Nick, someday when you guys start the call, the conversation start of the sales wins for Rocky Mountain will be MG related. And yeah, so got another big pool project today, 196-ish thousand, I think is where we were at. And the month is not over, but I think MG is probably leading by a hair. What do you think, Darby?
I think it could be, yeah.
Yeah, it's close.
We'll see.
But Darby, you got to tell me that it feels good to have a sales partner that helps pick up part of the goal, right? Like you told me for a while, you're like, Nick, back in the day, like Avery and I just bounced off each other, right?
Yeah.
I had a good month. He had an okay month. I had an okay month. He had a good month. And like, we were constantly just rolling. And obviously, you know, when MG came on, we had to train him. We had to train him about the industry. We had to train him about how we do business. But I feel like we're so close, right? Like, it's to the point where you guys are like equally pushing towards the goal every single month.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing to have that. And, you know, I told MG when he first started, like, we are a sales team, but I still want to kick his ass. Like, if you want to be good at this job, you still want to, if he wants to kick my ass, I want to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
competition.
Right. I can be super excited for him to get a big sale too. So, and it was that way with Avery before. It was like, man, I'm genuinely happy for him, and I want to kick his ass. So that's what keeps this. That's kind of what keeps the sales kind of department rolling is that idea that, like, yeah, I mean, we are a sales team, especially with Forrest. You know, the three of us really do work really well together and try to help each other do well. So we're always happy when the other one does well. And yeah, it is cool to have. I mean, we all want everything to be better with the company overall. So the more that we're all doing, the better we're all going to be. It's just better for everybody when we have more deals getting signed. It's better for all of us.
For sure. Yeah, so, well, it just keeps morale up, and you know, it makes our goals more attainable, because obviously our goals are company goals, not just single goals. So congratulations, MG, on a big day.
Yeah, man.
I can confidently say congratulations on your biggest month ever. And and I think it's over a 500,000. I don't know exactly where it's at, but I'm pretty sure it's over 500. And what's crazy is there's still a couple like solid deals just sitting there. Like it could potentially be $1 million month with a few more things move, or it's going to be a crazy start to November.
Yeah.
Which we love.
Strong. Yeah, we like strong starts are really good. It tends to be strong finishes, but strong starts are nice when we can get those too. So
I'm going to circle back to your one-on-one Darby. Do you still think we're going to have a shitty winner? It's going to be challenging.
Well, I did say I thought the winner might be challenging. And I think that's some of that is like self-defense. You know, like, if it, but I think honestly, no, because I know I have some really legit deals that are kind of sitting there for November and just kind of rolling. We've talked about kind of, I don't know how everybody, listening, how their appointments are, if they're doing more, if they're doing less. And we're doing, maybe not the same number, but man, we're meeting some really good people. And part of that is, what Katie's doing with our marketing and then what Forrest is doing when people call in. So, we're really lucky to have the team that we have that helps, keep this thing moving and allows all of us to kind of focus on what our role is. And that's, again, one of the reasons I came to work here is the infrastructure and the processes and all that stuff. And it really, it's really kicking ass right now. So it feels good.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, MG. Welcome to the ass kicking side of the team. We call that full ass plus.
Full ass plus.
Rachel will now start signing off on her emails to you with a little donkey and a plus sign. Because that's what we do here, full ass plus at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living.
That is nice. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I just want to say real quick, it is a group effort and it starts with Forrest on the phone, and him and I actually did a Zoom call with this client up in Greeley. And, so it's a good collaboration, and just want to shout it out there. I couldn't really do it without the training that Darby provided and Forrest helped. So let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Well, and watch out, Calvin. We're coming north. Apparently, we're going to shit town Greeley. Here we go. But that's okay because you're working in my backyard. I could walk to one of your projects. So, no, it's all in good fun. And I didn't actually think about it, but we could also call out Darby has officially moved to senior sales executive as of today. Signed a new contract. Him and Rachel went through that. So that's exciting news. So in that new position, just takes on more responsibilities and understanding like targets as a team and, looking at, ways to achieve goals and, working with MG and Nick to continue to train and help them grow. And so that's a new piece of the puzzle at Rocky Mountain today as well. So it's been a good week. It's been a really good week. And then, Darby, you got a couple new deals. And so morale is up, right?
It is
up. Everyone's excited. And it's crazy too, because what are we 2 or 3 days away from November? And man, it feels like it's the middle of July across the board as far as sales go and operations go. And I mean, you can see I'm still in the car. It's getting dark outside and I'm just heading back from being in the field. So things are good. Things are really good. It's exciting.
It is. It is really exciting. And it's senior sales executive because of my gray beard. That's the only reason, because I'm looking old.
That is the first thing he said, Nick, is it because I have gray hair in my beard?
Or because ChatGPT said the next role is a senior sales executive.
We don't use ChatGPT at all.
No. If you're not using ChatGPT, boys, you are behind the game.
It's really crazy what it can do. Like if you're having days where you have a minute to mess around with it and you're listening to this call, it's crazy that you wouldn't. Whether you need designs to be spruced up, whether you need it to change some verbiage, you can put together one sheets in there. So if you don't have, we were just talking about the staff and the infrastructure that we have at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, and maybe you don't have that yet. You will. You're going to get there, but maybe you don't have that yet. Use things like ChatGPT. Use that. Even the free versions, you can do a lot of cool stuff with them. So if you haven't messed with the X, you're like, I'm not a tech guy. Well, you better be a tech guy if you want to. What do you always say about us, Nick?
I mean, Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living is a tech company that just happens to build outdoor living spaces.
Right. So if you don't, you've got to, even if you think, I don't want it, you've got to do it, man. It's just the way things are going to be. It's that ship has sailed. If you think technology is not going to be a part of it, it is. So yeah, you should definitely use that. If you haven't used it, I mean, Forrest sees me use it all the damn time and I yell at it. It doesn't do what I want it to do, but we're working through it. So
Sure.
we were going to talk about some kind of, we just talked about how things are going well for us, but there are times where, like, I'll have a slow month, or we'll have stumbling blocks, or I'll come to you and go, hey, this guy said this, what do we do? So we are kind of, the goal today is kind of talk about some challenges that people are having, some kind of common stumbling blocks that they're having. And I don't know, we have, again, that we can do, I think one of them, and I don't know if we want to call him out by name, but this one came in Heartbeat, and I don't know that he's here today, but that's the cool thing too, is you can throw things in Heartbeat if you want to, and we'll answer your questions during the call. But the question being, and I think this is a really good one, because I was having a discussion with somebody about this earlier, about another contractor who's losing a lot of their people. And you have a saying about employees too. And the question here is, well, basically what he says is what he's having trouble with right now is finding good, solid, and consistent employees.
Sure.
And you have a really good line that you use, that you talk about that. And I now use it all the time with people too, because people don't leave our company. So, I mean, what do you say about that? People who can't find good, consistent employees?
Well, I don't know exactly what line you're looking for, but I'll tell you, it all starts with culture. And you have to have culture in the business. It doesn't matter if you have 4 employees, if you have 10 employees, or if you have 50 employees. Darby and I were talking this back in the day. There were days where I would lay in bed and I would think, are they going to show up tomorrow?
Yeah.
What if they don't show up tomorrow? What am I going to do if they don't show up tomorrow? Like, I was always living in this world of what if, and especially with employees. And, our employees will leave for, $1 or $2 more an hour. I can promise you that. They're here because Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living feels like a family. They're here because they see the vision. I will tell you that, like, you have to paint the vision. So we have a daily all team meeting with our team. And we have actually incorporated this in some of the businesses that we coach. I don't care if you have 3 employees or 10 employees or 50 employees. You have to have a daily all team meeting with your employees. And it doesn't have to be long and drawn out. It can be as simple as having a WhatsApp group that has a live invite every single morning, and they just jump on and you talk about what's going on. They want to be a part of something more, right? If they're out there just shoveling rock or laying pavers on the ground and they don't feel like there's opportunity, or they don't know what's next, or they don't feel appreciated, they're going to go.
Right.
And so if you're going through guys left and right, it's because your business is no different than every other business. And we don't really have that at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, right? Every once in a while, someone will come and go. It's funny, actually, I coach a business right now who a few of my employees that left work for them. It took a while before they ended up over there. It's been like a year and a half, but they left and asked to come back like in 5 days. And we told them no. I'm trying to think if there's an employee that hasn't left, that hasn't asked to come back in less than a week. Because just because there's more money on the other side doesn't mean it's a better place to be. And so, daily all team meetings, quarterly meetings, Christmas parties. One thing that we do on our daily all team meetings that I feel is a huge, huge driver, and I don't even remember where we got it from. Maybe Rachel can chime in here, but for us, there's about 50 of us. So every single day we share personal and professional goals, and we have like this little wheel and we spin it. And then when we spin it at the beginning, we tell them, today at the end of the call, it's going to be so and so. And they're so excited to share. Like, I will never forget is if Victor works for me or not. The very first time he was called on, he was so excited to share that his personal goal is that his son was out of diapers. Right. And like, it was a big deal. And it was a big deal for him to share that with us. And, I feel like we have a few other employees that feel like they get called all the time, but they only get called the same amount as everybody else. And, they still are excited to tell us what's going on, right? Simple things, right? Like stop smoking cigarettes, working out, feeling better, waking up earlier. And then talking about the business, like the wins inside of their business is, the teams are working better together. They're becoming more knowledgeable on the things that they're doing. We also call out birthdays. That's a big thing for us.
Yeah.
If you're not calling out birthdays for the Hispanic guys, you are missing a huge opportunity. And so we have a whole process on how employees come into our business. And it's pretty lengthy. And, you might say, Nick, this is overkill for construction. I'm going to have to disagree with you because I don't have employee problems. I don't.
No.
And I might have people problems, but I don't have employee problems. And, we just laid out our snowboard yesterday as a team, and I took on all this snow work. And I told Rachel, I said, I think I overdid it. And we laid it all out on the board. And I reached out to my contact and said, hey, I need more. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yep, I need more. Right. Because we have people who are committed to it and want to watch it grow. And he's like, Nick, don't worry. I got cousins, I got brothers. You need 80 people on shovels. Don't worry, I got them. And so, it's just fun to see the culture. And then I step back, right? So I'm in the office and I'm watching the team interact with each other. And sure, there's times where there's emotion and drama and, anxiety from high pressure jobs that we're working on, but 99% of the time, it's fun, there's only one person chit-chatting over by the coffee machine talking shit about me. Not really. What do we call that? Water fountain talk, I think.
Yeah.
That
water cooler talk. Yeah.
We used to have, my coach used to talk about it all the time. And he was like, how are you controlling water cooler talk? Because the statistics are crazy on, out of all the employees you have, how many of them are engaged, disengaged, and are actively disengaged and working against your company. And sometimes Rachel and I will sit down and say, can you find anybody that's actively disengaged working against us? It would be hard to pick somebody out because we just don't feel like it's there.
No, it's because it's not there. I really don't think it's there. And I'm going to break in and just say it's Elevate to Greatness with Nick Lippitt. We were talking about, right now we're talking about getting good people, keeping good people. We do this every week. And if you are thinking, man, I'd like to have this, but I'd like to have it one-on-one. I'd like to maybe be talking to Nick in his car while I'm in my car, just the two of us. You can do that with one-on-one training, with one-on-one coaching with Nick. And we build a whole program for you. And it's a weekly call that lasts an hour. It never lasts just an hour, but it's supposed to last just an hour. and it's one-on-one coaching built specifically for your business. And it's just, man, I'm telling you, it's invaluable. So if you want to, if you have interest in that, get with me. My contact info is in the chat, and it'll be in the podcast informational thing, hopefully. And I will say about the employee, I was telling Rachel this before. You talked earlier about my one-on-one. And I came to you guys with some stuff, with some ideas, some thoughts, like, hey, I want to be more engaged. I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try this. And you guys went, yeah, okay. It's like, what? I mean, that again, that is something that you don't get at a lot of workplaces. So what you say is good people don't work for shitty business owners. And so I think the idea that, I sat at this table with the stuff that I prepared, and I came to you guys and said, hey, these are some things I'm thinking about. And you guys said, okay, give us a few days. We're going to put something together. And you put something together, and I signed the thing, and we're doing it. And so again, how does that not make me feel like, man, these guys are invested? I texted you today and said, man, I'm even more energized after all that, because now, you feel like you have a seat at the table. You feel like your opinion matters. And if I came up to you with dumb shit, you'd go, hey man, we like you. And your beard is very gray and you look distinguished, but that's dumb shit. So you wouldn't do it if there weren't some, if it wasn't warranted. But we worked through some things together and tweaked some things to come up with some ideas. And I think that's also a huge thing. It's not just like you guys are in the ivory tower. We're down there toiling away. You're approachable. If we come to you with ideas, you're willing to listen. Even if the idea wasn't an idea that you wanted to enact, at least I know I can come to you guys and go, hey, I have these ideas. What do you think? And I think that's not anything you will say. So I wanted to say that's a huge thing, I think, for anybody. And if you have two employees still, if they come to you and go, hey, I'm seeing some things and maybe we can try this, at least hear them out. And I think that goes really far. I know it does, because it went really far with me.
Yeah.
Nick, do you want me to say that stat that we got?
Sure.
So at any given time, 33% of your team is engaged, 50% is disengaged, and 17% is actively disengaged. And the actively disengaged are the ones that are actually sabotaging your company's success.
Read it again.
33% engaged, 50% disengaged, 17% actively disengaged.
So think about this. If you have 10 people inside of your company, 7 of them are either disengaged or actively disengaged. So, what are we doing to eliminate that? And man, Darby, you're spot on. I say that shit all the time. I'm surprised I didn't pick up on that. Like, no questions asked. Great people don't work for shitty business owners, right? And you might think, well, I don't feel like I have great people, so that makes me a shitty business owner. There's some truth to that, but it's not so much that you're a shitty business owner, it's that you don't know how to be a great business owner, right? And if you're on this call, you've taken step one. What I would be, there's some guys on this call tonight that are in the coaching group. I would really appreciate it if you put in the chat how a part of our coaching has made you a better business owner, right? Like how the teams that have come in since then have changed. What does it look like? Are you concerned your employees are not going to show up to work tomorrow? What have you put inside of your business since working with us that's changed? And what's changed the culture inside of your business? And I'll tell you, it's the guys that are going to respond in here are going to tell you exactly what we've already told you. Because it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And being totally honest and transparent, like I had a conversation with one of my guys this week in the field, and it like turned the light on for me, because my big problem is that I feel like, and he brought it to my attention, I focus and give way more attention to my administrative staff than I do my operations staff. And what I learned is that everybody wants to be a part of it. Like sometimes you think, well, the guys in the field don't give a shit. That's not true. It's 100% not true. And you might think, well, I don't have time to take a PM out of the field and sit down for an hour or half an hour, or superintendent or a team lead. It's not true. If you want them to engage in who you are and what you do and help you grow and scale your business, you need to actively do this. And, I told him, I was pissed. I'll be honest, I was irritated when all this came up. And, after I left him, I started thinking about it and driving. I was like, you know what? He's not right. He's not wrong. I need to engage with my team in the field as much as the team in the office. And sure, it's easy, right? Darby sits, on the other side of the office. Nick's just over there. MG's basically right next to me. I see Anne-Marie, Leslie, Rachel, Mary, Matthew. I see them not every day, but I see them often, right? If I'm in the office, I see them. I'm not always in the office, but my team in the office isn't like, I wonder where Nick is. You think he's even working today? Like, there's no questions of what I'm doing and what we're doing, and that we're continuing to work towards the goal. And, every once in a while when it comes up that there is maybe a question on what Nick's doing or what Rachel's doing, it doesn't take long for them to be like, holy shit. Like, there's so many things going on behind the scenes. It's crazy. And at the beginning, I'll tell you, like 3 to 10 employees, you need to paint the picture. You need to show them or explain to them your company goals. You need to show them your personal goals. We have personal goals coming up here soon, like in the next 60 days. And usually it starts with me building my personal goals and sending them to my entire team so they can see. And then we work from there. But like, Darby, if one of my big goals this year was to, run a $2.5 million company, and that you need to sell $5 million just to survive, how excited are you going to be here?
Right. No.
The other thing is your belief lid. Like Rachel and I had a conversation an hour ago, and part of it was pushing on our belief lid. Like, as a business owner, it is very easy to say, well, if I stepped back, it would be easier. If I didn't have to manage $12 million worth of revenue, it would be easier. I had someone tell me the other day, he's like, Nick, I don't grow and I don't scale because I make money with 2 crews. Well, that's okay. How are you going to exit? How are you going to enjoy life? How are you going to travel? Like, Rachel and I decided to go to New York last Thursday afternoon on Tuesday morning. Like, that's how sudden it was. Are you in a position right now that you could leave in 48 hours from today and everything would continue on? Our answer is yes, because the culture's been put into place, and don't get me wrong, it can always be better and it can always be bigger. The culture in your business is going to be driven based on the belief lids that you have. And then, I mean, Darby can tell you, like, my belief live is so big, it's not even funny. There's no questions asked that I can run a $50 million company. I would never, ever, ever hesitate and think, maybe someday, or I'll figure it out. But if I don't figure it out, I'll just step back. Like that doesn't exist. Like, I went from starting a landscape company by accident, and then moving into hardscapes. And I remember when someone first showed me this, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is a good fit for me. I can't do that. And my belief at the time was really small. I have lost great people, like, no questions asked, and I could just name them, right? Like, Rachel, can you think of a great person that we lost because our belief lids were too small? And I'm wondering if the person you're thinking about is the same person I'm thinking about. He wasn't fired. He left, and he came to us and said, listen, I really enjoy working for you guys. I love you and Rachel as people. But what I'm looking for is just not available here. I remember my guys used to come to me and say, hey, I want more, I want more, I want more. And I'm like, listen, at some point, there's no more. That would never be my response now, right? Like, everybody is growing through the system. Darby's moved up, Anne Marie's moved up, Allie's moved up, Joe's moved up, Ignacio's moved up this year.
Yeah.
Like, just this year,
That's
all
wild.
these people
Yeah.
have changed positions because the belief lid inside of our business is significant. And it's just going to continue and continue and continue and continue. So, Rachel, what's the name? I know we're not supposed to say names, but we're going to say this name because this one doesn't matter.
I need you to say the name.
Huh?
I need you to say the name.
Dream.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I forget about him. But now that, yes, he was great.
I mean, he moved from Vermont to Colorado to work for us, like, at 19 years old. Let me think. Rachel, were you thinking of Avery? I don't think it would be Avery. I mean, my belief was way beyond where it needed to be at that time. But, I think if you are losing people and they're leaving to go to other companies, or you're like, man, I just can't keep these people, your belief lid needs to become bigger and your culture needs to become better. Plain and simple.
Yeah, it's real simple. I think people think the way to keep people is to keep throwing money at them, and that's not it either. Yes, people want to make money, but that's not. I mean, you do want to feel like you do want to know what the vision is so that you can help achieve that vision and kind of be part of that. I think that's something that a lot of us here want to be. Is we want to be. You guys are very clear on what the vision is and what the goal is, and I think that helps us to know that we want to be a part of it, and that we do know that clearly our company's only growing. We all know that. So I think that's huge. And I think Nick is just getting home. See, that's the other thing. He was talking about spending more time with the office staff. But you've been out in it. You've been out in it a lot lately. So
yeah, I mean, obviously I'm doing this 60-day journey of operations and profit, and dude, it's crazy what it's exposing. I'll tell you that I decided to do this journey for Elevate to Greatness. But the value that Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living has gotten out of it is nuts. Absolutely nuts. And we're seeing the changes already. And I should go back and look. I don't even know that we're at 30 days. I think we're like at 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes. You've come into the office with like things that you've seen and things that, that again, like, because we are growing at the pace we're growing at, you can't be all places at all times. And so I think, having this dedicated time that you spent out in the field, and you're out in the field anyway, it's not like you're never out in the field. But, to having this dedicated time, I think is, kind of opened your eyes to some things. It's helped all of us. It's helped people out in the field, but it's helped us in the soft, cushy jobs too, where we are learning more about, way to bid something, or way to price things, or whatever it is. So we're all learning from that. And when you do sit down, there is a comment in the chat about something that someone has gotten from the personal coaching, Calvin. Maybe I shouldn't have said his name, but I just did. So sorry.
Yeah, he's in the chat, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's here. He's here. So yeah, he's just talking about more structure. He says, I don't have employee problems, but showing my employees the correct structure gives them a higher sense of importance and accountability. Delegating work to my admin helps me with my production in the field. That's totally true, and that is kind of what we were kind of speaking about before too. That structure, and what I tell people all the time when I'm out on sales consultations is I tell people one of the reasons I came to work here in the first place was because of the structure. Because the structure we have in place is not the way most construction companies do it. It's just I've done this long enough to know this isn't the way most people do it, and I think that is a super it's a great sales tool for me because it's true, but it also resonates with people because when you're talking about spending when you have high roller MG selling $200,000 deals out there, people want to know that there's something that is behind that, and that there is something behind just the person that rolls in and tells them about the pool. So yeah, Calvin, that structure, that is a huge thing, and that's a huge thing that I have gotten since working here too. Is it's just the structure, and again, whether you have 3 people or 50 people, structure is still something that is necessary, and so that's just an immediate thing. You've only been working with Calvin for, I mean, not that long, a couple of weeks.
I mean, a month. We just
month.
passed over a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then that amount of time, just getting that structure in place, because I think you said earlier, and it's really important that people haven't learned how to be good business owners, and that's not just about balancing your books and putting crews out on the job sites, but that whole idea of culture and that whole idea of what does it really mean to be a good business owner. We could do 20 calls on that.
Yeah. I mean, the process of bringing people in and finding good people, it's like, I mean, dude, it starts all the way back of, first of all, like, how do you attract them? Like when you were scrolling Indeed and you looked at it, how many salespeople or how many sales positions are available in construction? Thousands,
Right.
thousands. And I remember I asked you, I joined the interview process somewhere around call 2. And I asked you, I said, where are you at in the process of you finding a job? And you're like, listen, man, I have 3 people banging on my door that want me to start tomorrow, but I'm not committing to anything until I hear from you guys, because the process you've put me through is totally different.
That's a true
Yeah.
story. That actually, yeah, that's exactly what I said.
I mean, dude, it's like, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, you want to attract great people. Don't find them at the parking lot of Home Depot, right? When you're hiring laborers, you don't hire Jose's brother because it's Jose's brother, right? You put him through the process. You're most likely going to hire him, but if they have to earn the ability to work here, the respect is going to be greater. If I would tell you, like, MG came from a pretty big corporation, Amory came from a pretty big corporation. I think it was Amory. Was it Amory?
Leslie.
Maybe it was Leslie. Someone was like, I said, I don't know, it was either interview 2 or interview 3. I said something and they said, your interview process is more intense than me going through the process I went through with Amazon. And it makes me want to work for your business.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're just the same as everybody else. I think we've had one person come and go that used us as a filler. And I don't know. I don't think it was early this year. I think it was late last year. And I don't even remember his name. Like,
I don't remember his
that's
name,
the
but
impact he made.
I remember he didn't fit anyway. I remember when he left, I was like, well, was he even here? So
Yeah, like, nobody's allowed to wear flannel in the office except for Jeremy. That's Jeremy's gig, right? And this guy shows up in flannel. You're like, bullshit, get the fuck out of here.
You're not Jeremy.
Yeah, like, quit trying to step on his toes.
Yeah.
So, like, think about it. Like, going back to the initial question, sure, culture, right? Great people don't work for shitty business owners, right? There's all these answers to it. But what is the process for you to hire somebody? And if you are hiring somebody on the spot because you're desperate, they're going to come and go.
Yep.
It's plain and simple. Simple things like, someone on this call is going to laugh. Just in the last 2 weeks, in one of the groups that one of the companies that we coach, we implemented something as simple as a clock-in system, right? Like, you don't think the guys in the field react to that, right? You're investing in them. You're investing in the business. You're investing in the quality of the business. Like, how many great people want to work for somebody where they send in all their hours on a loose leaf piece of paper?
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah.
and they might, and I told him, I said, hey, you might lose some guys because there are definitely guys who like that because they can cheat the system,
Yep.
right? But spin it the other way. Great people probably think if this is how I clock in, how am I going to get paid?
Yeah.
Is it going to be accurate? Are my taxes on my check going to be correct? You know, like these are simple, simple, simple things,
Right. Is this
but
place
the
going to be around
value
in
of
two
them are
years?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is my check going to bounce next Friday?
Right.
I
Right.
don't
Yeah. How
know.
do I know? Right. Yeah. You want to dedicate that time. That's
So,
huge.
you know, like having them actually fill out employee paperwork, an employee contract, an employee handbook, you know, these are things that just add value, add value, add value. Let me tell you, at the time in which I had people coming and going and coming and going and coming and going, and I couldn't hold a crew, every single thing we just talked about, I had none of them. And, you know, um, I was telling Rachel, this is a little bit of a sales pitch, but at the same time, I think it's honest and you need to hear it. The people who coached me, we've recently found out that they've decided to get out of the outdoor living space. And here's the reason why. Because they said the industry is not profitable enough. It's not true. It's not true. And I told Rachel the difference between when they coached us and when we coach others is I can show you how to fix it like that because I've lived through every single one of them. Right?
Yes.
Like they said, Nick, you need to do this. I said, okay, cool. How? Well, we need to figure out how to make that happen inside of your business. I'm just going to show you how to put it inside of your business because I do it every single day. And I don't think that the industry is not profitable enough. I guarantee it is. Uh, you know, I think that net percentages, and there's going to be so many people that just roll their eyes at me, especially some of the other bigger businesses, the other bigger coaches. This business could hold a net percentage of 15 or 18% all day long. But there's so many things that have to be in place in order for it to be efficient enough to do that. Um, my brother is looking at working for some of our largest competitors right now, and he told me we talked the other day for a while. It's the longest conversation we've had since I fired him, and he told me he said, Nick, it's crazy because I feel like finally I found a place that's like Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. Right. I found a place that has structure and I found a place that has systems and found a place that's going to require processes. He's worked for a few companies since then. And he told me, he said, Nick, every single one of them is your typical construction company.
Yeah.
Right. Just fucking wing it and figure it out.
Yep.
You can't make money doing that. You know, the problem with our industry is that everything is essentially an estimate or your best guess at what it's going to take. And if you're off, you're off. But if you're off and you're not efficient, you're doing it twice, you're really off.
Yeah.
And you can't be profitable like that. And you can't. And for a lot of guys on this call, you may or may not know this statement, but the average net profit in outdoor living is 3%. Like 3%. That's the average. And if you're not in the average, it's not because you're higher. It's because you're probably somewhere close between
Right.
0 and 1.
Right. That's crazy.
So, you know, like Rachel's got a really good friend who's gone through a lot of our programs, and dude, her net percentage is like 35 or 50. You know how easy it is to scale a business when you have 35 to 50% net cash flow?
Yeah.
Like, right? Mind blowing.
Right.
Try scaling a business when you have a net profit of 1 to 3%.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough as hell. And you just don't know, right? It's not, our business is not transactional. I love my houseboat business. It's transactional. I sell a share for $199,000. They give me $199,000 in less than 3 days. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in my business, I sell $199,000 swimming pool, and 6 months later, I can check it off the box that it's finally done.
That's true.
So, you know, it's cool to be a part of a transactional business, but we're all on this call and we're all in this business because we're not transactional business owners. Every single person that's on this call is here because they're good with their hands. They're good with their vision. They're artistic. They enjoy seeing something start to finish. Like, dude, it's exciting to go to some of these projects. I walk in the backyard and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool
You
thing
know?
we do on our morning call too, is we have the guys in the crew showing us stuff on that Zoom. So we get to see it too. And that does keep you excited because, like, it's easy to forget that we do really cool shit, and it's really exciting and it looks amazing, but also the experiences that the people are going to have with these spaces is something that is, I sometimes do lose sight of it. So that is also super valuable.
We
Definitely.
do really cool shit.
We do.
Do we solve
Yeah.
problems all day, every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in this industry, you better know how to solve problems.
Well, it's cool is we're working on a really big project and there were some issues at one point, and I heard you talking to them today and it was just like you were pals. You guys were on the phone like, "Hey man, what's going on?" Yeah, and it's like, what the hell? Jedi. That's the Jedi stuff that happens. But again, we talk about
Tell them
not
what
being-
you really said.
I don't think
I got off the phone. You're like, oh, you got a new best friend?
Well, you guys,
You got a new best friend all of a sudden?
I didn't say it. Just, oh, you guys are now best friends. So that's what I said. But it goes to not being transactional. It goes to, like, there is some, like, there is some relationship building. It is more of you are with these people for a much longer period of time than with your houseboats where you're like, all right, cool, take her easy. It is different than that. So I think it does take a different kind of animal to be able to do that sort of thing. And you're right. That's what people on this call are. That's what they are and what they're striving to be. So it is a completely different thing. So I think that's a really cool point.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit since we're on this whole subject of people and problems and solving problems and culture. Like, we'll talk a little bit on how we find good people. I will tell you, we have definitely found lots of great people via Indeed, but I will tell you that a lot of the people who work for me because they came via social media, they came via my personal channel, they came via Elevate to Greatness, they came via my vendors. Like, I promise you, if you walked into CPS and you lived in Colorado and you said, hey, I'm going to shut my business down and go look to work for somebody, or somebody else was like, I'm not going to work here anymore, do you have recommendations of where I should go? Rocky Mountain is at the top of their list.
Sure.
It is crazy how many people come to us from our vendors, just left and right and left and right. And Steve calls me all the time. He's like, hey man, are you looking for somebody for this position? I got someone who's really good. And I said, yeah, well, you're really good. Last time wasn't so good, but I'll entertain it. And then you figure out, as you hire people, as people come and go, the other thing is as you're losing people, take a minute and reflect and learn from it. I say it all the time, and I know it sounds intense, but every time I lose someone better comes around the corner. And I'll tell you, it's because I know exactly what I'm looking for, right? I didn't know what I was looking for in that position the first time, right? I hired, fuck, in the last year, I went through at least 3 project managers in Hardscapes. No, not 2 years ago, right? In the last year, it's solid now. But like transition. And I was like, I learned, and then I learned, and then I learned. And then I finally told Rachel, I said, hey, the problem is that people who work in the construction world that think they're a project manager, they don't even know what a project manager really is. Like, they've had this title, but they don't actually work to the title.
Right.
99% of the people who filled out applications for a project manager at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living were superintendents.
Yep.
No questions asked. And when we would ask them project manager questions, it would be like they'd go dark. Project managers inside of our space should be managing budgets, should be managing labor, should be managing estimated versus actual, should be managing profit and margins and cost of materials. How many people in here have a project manager that does not do any of that? Everybody could raise their hand.
Yeah.
Superintendents manage construction,
Yep.
quality, communication with the client on the site, materials at the property, crews in the field. And I think there's a huge, huge disconnection there. And to be honest, when I let my brother go and we finally started talking, and made amends, he said, Nick, I'm not a project manager. I'm not even close to a project manager. I worked for a couple of companies where I got project manager positions because you labeled me as a project manager. He's like, I'm not. I don't know how to do 90% of the things that I should be doing right now. And so I told Rachel, I said, I don't want to hire somebody from the construction business. I want to hire somebody who has experience in project management, not in construction. And I kind of brag about this all the time. Anne Marie is in this position. She doesn't know how to build a swimming pool. She doesn't even know where to start. If I told her to go to the yard and move a skid steer, she wouldn't even know where the start button existed. Not a chance. Couldn't tow a trailer. But she can manage inventory like a wizard.
Yeah.
She can manage budgets and labor and schedules like crazy. I haven't, man, it feels so good to say this, and I haven't even thought about it till now. I haven't put a schedule board together in almost a year. I don't even look at the schedule board. Every once in a while, I give her a hard time, and she's like, if you can do it better, just do it. Right? But like, I have no idea what's going on with the schedule. I texted Ignacio today and I said, hey, where the hell is Pato at? Because I don't know.
Right.
That's what a project manager does. And so by me hiring and losing people, firing, through this process, some quit, some got fired, some whatever. I learned as a business owner from every one of those transactions what I was really looking for because I didn't know. I mean, I hired a company to help me hire a controller because I'm not a controller.
Right.
I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what the expectations are. Thank God for ChatGPT, right? That gave me a little bit of advice.
Yeah.
But we hired a third-party company to interview our controller for us because I didn't know what questions to ask.
Well, it is that whole
The
thing. You don't know
difference.
what you don't know. And I think that's super interesting. The idea that like, just because I thought I knew what a project manager was too, doing this for as long as I have. And it's not what Anne Marie is, but that's what a project manager actually should be. And a project manager in other industries, that's what they are. But in our industry, it has just been guys who are like, well, he's been a superintendent for a long time. What do we do now? Let's call him a project manager. And we'll just elevate him. But it really is that it's just kind of like that's the next thing you do. But I think that's a super interesting idea. The idea that like, just because it's been that way forever doesn't mean that's the way it's supposed to be. And doesn't mean you can't go, wait a minute. That's not what a project manager is. And that's not what it's going to be inside my business. And you've done that. And it's made all of our lives better.
Yep.
She's
There are
definitely
only
made it easier
three
for me.
companies, for sure. There's only three companies in the state of Colorado that I am aware of that run a business like this. Designs by Sundown, Lifescapes, and Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living.
All pretty successful.
Yeah, and I mean, my brother's interviewing with one of them, and he said, I used to work at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, and they knew the company,
Sure.
right? Like these are some of the biggest companies in Colorado, and they knew the company, and they knew about us, and how much, I don't know. I don't know a ton about them, but I know how they run their business. All three of us use the same system. We all have the same process. He's going through 7 interviews. I was like, holy shit, 7? Seems a little excessive, but maybe I'm missing something. So, back to the beginning of this, like, how are you attracting people? If you're looking to hire labor, or if you're looking to hire field stuff, there's a really good chance you're going to attract them via social media. And if you're not posting every single day, they don't know who you are. Grant Cardone says, if they don't know you, they can't flow you. Plain and simple, right? We hit a gas line in a neighborhood and literally shut down the entire neighborhood. Guess what? They knew who Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living was real fast, right? There's good, there's bad, but they knew who we were.
Yeah.
And I guarantee at the time the neighbors were pissed. We handled it really well. The project is beautiful. When that neighbor wants a swimming pool, a deck, a patio, a kitchen, they're going to ask those neighbors who they worked with. And so I look at everybody in this call, right? I don't see you guys on social media, right? Post your work, right? Post the guys, post the meetings. Like, again, if these guys don't know you, they can't flow you. You would be shocked. All of my crew in the field follow me on social media. Sometimes they use it against me, but it is what it is, right? And like I get messages all the time, especially for you guys that are looking to do this via subcontractor, like every single week. New message, new message, new message. Hey, I'm so and so. I have a crew of 4. I own all of this equipment. I'd love to install pavers for you. Hey, I'm so and so. I know how to install swimming pools. Hey, I'm looking for a job. Hey, I'm looking for projects for my crews. Hey, I'm looking to be a subcontractor. Like, It's nuts.
That's
I
cool.
remember at the beginning when we were coaching one of the guys, they went through crew after crew after crew after crew. And I said, hold on a second. And I went through my messages and just started feeding them to him. We had all of these applicants for positions. Rachel pulled them and sent them all to them and said, here, we don't know if they're qualified. We didn't interview them. We never made it through the process with them. All of these people are looking for work. And we had attracted them at the time we didn't need them, and we just passed them off to someone who needed them. But they came organically, and they see us at the Home and Garden Show,
Yeah.
right? They see us on Facebook, they see us on Instagram, they see us on reposts of Belgard. The Deck Superstore talks about us, CPS talks about us.
See, I
It's
didn't even
not
think of it that way.
often. Yeah, I mean, dude, if your vendors know who you are and they know that you run a solid business and someone's looking for work, they're just going to feed them to you.
But that's not what most people think they're posting on Instagram so that maybe potential customers will see them. People aren't thinking of it that way. I haven't thought of it that way before, that, you can get employees that way. You can get new vendors that way. You can get subs that way. Like, that's a pretty amazing thing that doesn't cost you. That don't cost you nothing. And you should be doing it anyway. Not that I want to talk, but you should be doing it anyway.
Well, for sure. 50% of the businesses that I coach followed me on Instagram before I ever even started Elevate to Greatness. And then they watched me do Elevate to Greatness, and then they watched and they watched and they watched and they watched, and then they reached out. I have competitors that reached out and they're like, hey, tell me a little bit about this program and what it looks like. People that I never imagined would reach out. Obviously I get a bunch from conferences and, all of our other stuff that we're doing, but half of them have come organically through social media. I remember when I did my very first podcast, and that's kind of what kicked all this off. And then Avery and I decided to have a call, and we just did a free call on Saturday. Like 55 people showed up. And I told Avery, I said, where the fuck did all these people come from? I don't even know 55 people. Obviously it's not true. Rachel would tell you that probably the one thing she doesn't love about Nick Lippitt is that I always have to have people around me at all times. I love people. But I remember these people just kept joining and joining and joining and joining. And I was texting Avery in the background and I'm like, I don't know who all these people are. And he's like, dude, it's all coming from social media, all of it. We're not super flashy. And my personal brand coach is like, Nick, you need to be more flashy. He pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and wanted all these videos from New York. Guess how many are recorded? 0. Dude, that's where I struggle. I struggle with that side of it. But I will tell you that the attraction of who is your business?
Yeah.
Do people even know? MG didn't, but Darby, Allie, Anne Marie, Nick Forrest, they looked up Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living online before they decided to work here. They knew who we were before we even got through the interview process. Because if you're looking about making a decision like that, you're going to go look.
Yeah, you have to have a presence online for sure. If you don't, man, if you're like, you gotta have a website, you gotta have social media. You'd have to have it. It's not like an option anymore. It's just, you have to have it. It's so cheap and easy to have a website and to do. It's just you have to do it. It's crazy not to do it because you're not going to get employees and you're not going to get customers really either.
Yep.
So I know trust me. I know about social media. I can't get off of social media. I'm on there.
Yeah. So just, think about, where are you finding the people that work for you?
Yeah.
And what is the process to hire them? And then what does the culture look like inside of your business?
It's all huge. It's all huge. And we're right up on it. So you've journeyed in your car going 75 miles an hour, plus 20. And now we were going to answer a bunch of questions. Rachel just said, well, we answered one question. Well, we knew that one was going to take a while. Listen, if you have specific questions and you think, man, I need more in-depth discussions, I need to know more about specifically my issues, the things that I'm facing. How can I get out of this? How can I move to where I want to move? There is the personal coaching option with Nick. You can get with me. If you want information on that, I'll talk to you to find out if it's a good idea for you. Because if it's not, we will tell you it's not a good idea for you. This is not a used car lot. We're not trying to do that. So if it's a good fit for you and Nick thinks he can help you, we will do that. So get in with me there. And again, the podcast on Spotify, it's on Apple. You can listen to it every week. Share it with your friends to help them as well. It's Elevate to Greatness with Nick Lippitt every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Do you have any parting words?
No, man. Can't wait till next week.
All right, let's do it next week. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. Happy Halloween on Friday. Don't